Femi Arinze thought he was walking into a courtroom to lose everything. But what he didn't know was that by the time he walked out, the world would finally see who the real criminal was. The Washington, D.C. courthouse was packed. Reporters crowded the hallways, cameras flashing, all whispering a single name. Congressman Hector Wills, a powerful man, rich, untouchable, loved in public, but feared in private. And sitting across from him, at the defendant's table, was Femi, a 23-year-old Nigerian student who came to America chasing education, ambition, and dreams bigger than himself. But today, his name was smeared across headlines. African student mastermind behind internet fraud ring. To the world, Femi looked guilty, but to Wills, Femi looked finished. When the judge entered, silence fell. Wills leaned back in his seat, silver cufflinks shining, his smirk dripping with confidence. To him, this wasn't a trial, it was theater, because he had orchestrated it all. The fake evidence, the paid witnesses, the lies. Why? Because months earlier, Femi had exposed shady transactions that traced back to Wills, and now the congressman wanted revenge. The prosecutor rose, his voice booming. The evidence against Mr. Arinze is overwhelming. Bank records, emails, testimonies. This is not a mistake. This is fraud. The jury nodded. The case looked airtight. It looked like the end. But when it was time for the defense, something unexpected happened. Femi stood up. "Your Honor," he said, voice steady, "I'll be speaking for myself." Gasps filled the courtroom. Even Wills's smirk twitched for the first time. The judge frowned. "You understand the risk you're taking?" Femi nodded. "Yes, because the truth doesn't need a lawyer. It just needs to be heard." He turned to the jury. "Congressman Wills says I am the mastermind behind fraud, that I stole money through fake accounts. But ask yourselves this: when has fraud ever left a trail that clear?" The jurors shifted. Femi pressed forward. "These so-called transfers, they weren't found on my devices. They came from servers linked to one company." He lifted a document. "And that company belongs to Congressman Hector Wills." The gallery erupted. The judge sat straighter. Wills's smirk vanished. But Femi wasn't done. "Your Honor," he said, "yesterday I received this." He pointed to the screen. A video began to play. There, clear as daylight, was Hector Wills himself, caught on a private call. Plant the evidence on the African boy, he fits the story. By the time he's deported, I'll be untouchable. The courtroom froze. Wills's face went pale. The prosecutor leapt up. "Objection!" But the judge's voice cut through. "Overruled. Play it again." And once more, the words echoed. "He's African. He fits the story." It was over. The judge leaned forward. "Case dismissed. And as for Congressman Wills, this court is issuing an arrest warrant immediately." Reporters exploded into shouts. Cameras flashed. And Wills, the man who built his empire on arrogance and hate, was led out of the very courtroom where he thought he'd bury Femi. Outside, microphones swarmed. "Femi, how does it feel to defeat a congressman?" Femi stood tall. His words were calm, but they cut like steel. This was never about defeating a congressman. This was about justice, because justice doesn't care about your money, your power, or your politics. It cares about truth. Here's the lesson we need to remember. How many others have been buried under lies because they didn't have the evidence, the platform, or the voice? Femi had proof. But what about the ones who don't? This wasn't just one man's victory. It was a reminder that truth always claws its way to the surface, no matter how deep corruption tries to bury it. And next time, it might not be Femi. It might be you, or someone you love. If this story made you think, share it. Because justice isn't just a verdict, it's a fight.